Luo Feng watched as the space beast ancestor vanished and swiftly descended, landing beside a lake in the vast forest. He sat crossed-legged and closed his eyes to think. His heart gradually calmed down. Only then did Luo Feng open his eyes and start to think carefully about this matter. Teacher Mountain Passenger paid a huge price to give me this chance, allowing me to enter the Space Beast Alliance's important grounds. However, for me to defeat the ancestor's body, how can I do that? To become the universe's strongest warrior, that's too far away for me. Create the Universe Lord's ultimate technique? Luo Feng shook his head. My origin law comprehension is very low, barely at the entry level of the Universe Knight. To create an absolute technique, one first has to have origin law comprehension as the foundation. I have no foundation at all. How can I create it? Even if I use the Beast God conception as the foundation, my Beast God conception is only slightly higher than the origin law comprehension. Luo Feng shook his head. Origin law comprehension and Beast God conception were the principles of the absolute techniques. The origin law comprehension was completely comprehended. Even though the Beast God conception wasn't completely comprehended, it was still memorized through trillions of simulations. However, my origin law comprehension and Beast God conception are both very low. To create the Universe Lord's ultimate technique? How is that possible? Luo Feng looked up and surveyed his surroundings. Teacher Mountain Passenger made me come here. Could it be that the Beast God realm can help me reach this goal? Luo Feng soared into the sky and became a beam of light, swiftly flying towards the nearest golden beast statue. The golden beast god was a fusion of the space and gold origin laws. It was also the path Luo Feng trained in. Luo Feng landed before a majestic golden beast statue. This huge horned lizard's thick right claw was tearing the ground. Its long tail was slightly swaying, curving in midair. The entire statue had many complex engravings on its scales. These engravings were completely different from the beast god statue Luo Feng had. A new engraving. It also gave the entire statue a sense of peace and tranquility, almost as though the golden beast god was taking a leisurely stroll, casually scratching the ground with its claws. Luo Feng looked up with a curious expression. I clearly feel like this is an origin law engraving, however why are the engravings on the scales different? After studying for a while, Luo Feng couldn't understand. So, Luo Feng broke through the air and flew towards the other golden beast god statue. After all, the golden beast god was the one he understood the most among the 8 great beast gods. The other golden beast statue also made Luo Feng feel like it was an origin law body. However, that golden beast god was emitting an incredibly terrifying killing energy, almost as though it was about to attack. The patterns on the scales changed again. One after another, the metal beast god statues appeared. Each of them was different. There was anger, tranquility, happiness, madness, determination, roaring. In different states, the scales of the metal beast god in different states were also different. Moreover, among those statues, some of the golden beast gods used their sharp claws to attack, some used their tails and some used their horns. It seemed like any part of their bodies could be attacked. After looking at the gold beast god, Luo Feng looked at the thunder beast god, light beast god, other beast god statues. These statues were much stronger than the statues Hiroto left behind back then. It even made Luo Feng feel that these statues were very close to the little beast god statue he had. The 8 natural beast gods. Every beast god has many statues, and every one of them seems to have completely integrated the origin laws. Luo Feng was shocked within. After looking at the 8 statues, Luo Feng wandered around the beast god world. On the wasteland, on the ancient trees, on the walls, on the mountain peaks at the bottom of the lakes, there were all sorts of techniques and carvings. When one got close to these places, one could feel the pressure emitted from the carvings. Some were pure engravings, while others were detailed introductions of origin laws. Techniques left behind by the space beasts in the past. Strong or weak. There were even tens of Universe Lord ultimate techniques. As for the pinnacle of Universe Lord techniques and the Universe Knight level techniques, there were countless. There were close combat techniques, spirit weapon techniques, hypnosis techniques, body amplification techniques, soul amplification techniques. It made LuoFeng's eyes blur. My soul amplification technique can only amplify 32 times. Even though the golden horned beast has its own amplification techniques, Deities of the World is a more basic one, its limit is only 36 times. The techniques here, most of them can exceed 80 times, some even reach 100 times. Luo Feng was very satisfied with them. If he memorized more techniques, body amplification techniques, soul amplification techniques, he wouldn't have to think of other ways to find them, he could easily train them to perfection in the beast god world. Of course, having the techniques didn't mean success. Just like many who received the inheritance of the god generals, those who truly received the complete inheritance could be counted on one's fingers. Space Beast Alliance's universe within the beast god world. The vast land and skies were endless. On the peak of the majestic mountain, Luo Feng leaned on the rock and gazed at the endless land and skies, exclaiming, "What exquisite techniques! The Universe Lord's ultimate techniques are indeed unfathomable. Even the Primal Chaos City Leader Teacher's technique is only at this level. It's a pity. I'm still in a daze." Even though some of the techniques had some notes. However, Luo Feng's comprehension was too low, it was like looking at a flower in a fog. He didn't understand anything. The Universe Lord's ultimate techniques are right in front of me, they all have notes and explanations, yet I can't understand them. And you want me to create them? Teacher Mountain Traveler, you have too much confidence in me. Luo Feng was helpless. This was a treasure trove. Just from the beast god statues, Luo Feng was able to see every natural beast god state and state. Luo Feng felt many of the questions he had over the years suddenly cleared up. And Luo Feng had a feeling, the scales produced different amounts of pressure. And all of them were like origin laws. There was a secret within. I feel that every statue is an absolute technique. Luo Feng muttered, and there should be some connection between the statues. It's just that my level is still too low, I can't see through it at all. Luo Feng was actually in a daze at the start, having such a feeling as he browsed through the many techniques. He realized that the creators of these techniques all had notes at the back, they were all comprehended from certain beast god statues. This made Luo Feng understand immediately, these statues were definitely not ordinary. Comprehended? How do I comprehend? The creators of these techniques are mostly universe lords. How do I comprehend them? Luo Feng shook his head. Teacher Mountain Traveler, you might have to lose that ultimate treasure. Luo Feng said softly, suddenly he was stunned. Not right. Luo Feng suddenly stood up. The ancestor is powerful, Teacher Mountain Traveler isn't stupid either. Luo Feng muttered to himself, in comparison, Teacher Mountain Traveler knows more about me. Since he dared to bet, it means he has some confidence. Which means I have a chance of achieving it, then where is this chance? Where is it? How do I achieve it? Luo Feng could vaguely feel that he had a way to achieve it, but he couldn't think of anything. After thinking for 3 days he still couldn't think of anything. Forget it, 100,000 years, that's 1 billion years, such a long time, there's no rush. For now, I'll focus on training the 9 Calamities Manuals. 9 Calamities. 9 Calamities. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. Training the 9 Calamities Manuals will definitely allow the golden horned beast to reach the perfect gene level. Last time I obtained the natural talent, I am the universe. This time, I might even get a natural talent technique. Even if I don't get it, the golden horned beast should be able to unleash, I am the universe, by then. I am the universe, talent technique at the very least consumes such a huge amount of god body, even the ultimate techniques of the universe wouldn't be this ridiculous. And when my consciousness was bestowed, that light's power felt much stronger than the universe lord's. This I am the universe technique should be considered the universe lord's ultimate technique. Luo Feng was overjoyed. Right, the natural talent technique, I am the universe. The ancestor only told me to defeat his body, he didn't say I couldn't use my natural talent techniques. Luo Feng laughed to himself. Right, just like Bark Mirror Emperor who was only an Undying, his natural talent technique's power can be considered at the universe lord level. I've reached the perfect gene level, the I am the universe technique is obviously much more powerful. Haha. 100,000 years? I don't need 100,000 years, I can do it in 100 years, only 3 days have passed in the actual universe. Luo Feng was filled with anticipation, he had a strong feeling from the commotion of the I am the universe talent technique, its power definitely wouldn't be weak. Along with the consumption of such a powerful god body at the lowest level, it would definitely meet the requirements. When the golden horned beast unleashes I am the universe, it can completely defeat the primogenitor clone that can only unleash the universe lord pinnacle technique. Luo Feng was enlightened. He couldn't think of a way before, but now he had confidence. He had looked at the many techniques of the beast god realm, even though he was confused, he felt that I am the universe wasn't any weaker than any of them. Filled with anticipation, Luo Feng began to fully immerse himself. The golden horned beast's tail, back 2 claws, wings, upper back and head, these 7 areas all had at least 10 blood river crystals infused into them. The genetic amplification could reach up to 10 times. And the right claw, left claw and back all had 100 blood river crystals infused. The genetic amplification could reach up to 100 times. As he trained, the golden horned beast's life genetic level continued to rise, 7,000, 7,500, 8,000, 8,500, 9,000, 9,500. When the 6th level of the 9 level was completed, the golden horned beast's life genetic level had reached about 9,900 times. I'm just a little away from the perfect limit. Luo Feng was filled with pride. 7th level. The golden horned beast continued to train for the 7th level, causing its life genetic level to steadily rise, nearing the legendary limit. Just like back then when the ocean clone finally reached its limit. Finally, on the 62nd year of entering the beast god realm, the golden horned beast's life genetic level reached the limit of perfection. The clear lake water rippled, the surface of the lake was covered in mist, permeating the surroundings. Beside the lake, Luo Feng sat crossed-legged. On his shoulder was a 1 m long golden horned beast. Perfect limit. Back then the ocean clone had reached this level, only after transforming into the endless ocean. The new ocean clone that was formed was merely 1,000 times stronger. I finally allowed the golden horned beast to reach this level. Luo Feng smiled, at the same time waiting for the changes to happen. According to normal procedures, the moment one's life force reached perfection, there would be changes. The last time was when the universe origin laws descended, causing Luo Feng's consciousness to be drawn into the mysterious space, allowing the ocean clone to swiftly reach over 90,000 kilometers tall. Luo Feng sat there frowning. 1 second, 2 seconds. 1 minute, 2 minutes. 5 minutes. No changes. Why isn't there any movement at all? Luo Feng was shocked. After 62 years of training in the 9 Calamity Manual, he reached the perfect gene level. But this time there was no movement at all. his divine body didn't change, and Luo Feng's consciousness wasn't drawn into that mysterious place again. Luo Feng stood up in shock. Don't tell me, don't tell me. Luo Feng's eyes stared wide, filled with unwillingness. He carefully thought about it and understood why there wasn't any change. Because this was another universe. And not the Primal Universe. Even though Luo Feng knew it was another universe in theory, even though it was a different universe, gold, wood, water, fire, earth, wind, light, thunder, time, space, even the many fusion laws, everything was the same as the Primal Universe. Comprehending the origin laws and techniques was no different from the Primal Universe. Just like in the Primal Universe, stepping into the universe level, domain lord, sector lord, etc., it was exactly the same as in the Primal Universe. The Primal Universe was the largest and most vast universe, with trillions of races and countless life forms. And the Primal Universe and the Space Beast Alliance universe were much smaller. One big, two small. However, the laws, the strong's training, etc., were all the same. Different universes would only have slight differences in time flow and environment. The big aspects were all the same. Hence Luo Feng thought. The moment he reached the perfect life gene level, the golden horn beast would evolve again. Even his consciousness could enter the mysterious space of this universe again. Wrong. It seems that there are differences between different universes. This universe of the Starry Sky Behemoth Alliance doesn't have any reaction to my perfect genetic level. Even his god body hasn't evolved. Luo Feng shook his head. What to do now? Luo Feng was troubled. Even though the golden horn beast's life gene level had reached a perfect level, and in terms of quality, it had reached the minimum requirement of using I am the universe. But in terms of quantity it was very lacking. One had to know that a 90,000 kilometer tall divine body could only be used 10 times. The golden horn beast was only 1,000 kilometers. That was a few 100,000th of a 90,000 kilometer high god body. The moment it uses I am the universe, the golden horn beast's body would be completely exhausted before it could even form the technique. Relying on the natural ability I am the universe to defeat the primogenitor's body won't work. Luo Feng creased his eyebrows. Then what do I do? At that moment Luo Feng felt helpless. His clone's body was too small, so he couldn't use his innate secret technique. Did he have to create it himself? Just based on his law comprehension and beast god mentality, to create the universe lord's ultimate technique? That was simply the biggest joke in the world. What should I do? Luo Feng constantly thought. However, he realized there was no hope. He wasn't even a knight. How could he create the universe lord's ultimate technique? Become the universe's strongest? Ridiculous. The beast god world was vast and vast. In one of the mountain ranges, on one of the mountain peaks, the white-robed primogenitor old man sat beside him. Opposite him was a green-robed old man with two crystalline horns. The two of them sat opposite each other. Mountain guest, looks like your disciple has fallen into a predicament. The primogenitor smiled. Don't rush. Mountain guest gazed into the distance. Whether it was the primogenitor or the mountain guest, both of them had sent their clones here. After all, this was the universe controlled by the primogenitor. Just like how the Primal Universe was controlled by the Primal Chaos City leader, this universe was controlled by the primogenitor. In the Primal Universe, the Primal Chaos City leader was invincible. In this universe, even though the primogenitor was just a clone, the moment he borrowed the universe origin energy, he was still an invincible being. Hence, similarly the universe's strongest mountain guest naturally wouldn't fall into a predicament, he could just casually create a clone. At the universe's strongest level, he could casually create another clone. You're really powerful. Back then you forcefully raised your second disciple's life genetic level to close to 10,000 times. Now the third disciple you've nurtured is even more extraordinary. He's already reached the perfect gene level. The primogenitor sighed. In terms of nurturing disciples, especially raising the life genetic level, I'm far from you. Mountain guest shook his head and laughed. This goes against the universe's laws. One has to pay a sufficient price. I've only nurtured these two disciples. If it were any more, I wouldn't be able to afford it. The primogenitor nodded. At their level they were already standing at the pinnacle. Like the amplitude techniques, life genetic level, etc., they had no meaning to them. They had long reached the perfect level. Otherwise, how could they be called the universe's strongest? Everyone who can reach the perfect gene level will receive the Primal Universe origin energy's blessing. Their divine body can evolve to the perfect level. Their consciousness can also receive the strongest talent secret technique. The primogenitor sighed. What a pity. This is my universe. The primogenitor glanced at Mountain Guest. My universe is far from being as powerful as the Primal Universe. I can't give him the talent secret technique. I can't make his divine body evolve either. The primogenitor held up the wine that was condensed from countless dew and took a sip. His divine body hasn't evolved. Even if he has the strongest talent secret technique, he won't be able to use it. Moreover, he hasn't even received the strongest talent secret technique. If this was the Primal Universe, I'm afraid I'd lose this bet. What a pity. This is my universe. The primogenitor looked at Mountain Guest. I can control all unexpected factors. Your disciple can only rely on the beast god realm. Quite confident? Mountain Guest also held up the wine, took a sip, and sighed. This wine is not bad, give me some later. This wine of mine is specially cultivated in this universe I control, in many special environments before finally producing it. The cost of the effort is not small. The primogenitor looked at Mountain Guest and laughed. However, your ultimate treasure is about to lose to me, this little wine is nothing. Old beast god, remember 100,000 eras. Mountain guest shook his head. How long has it been? Don't be too confident. Oh, you're very confident? The primogenitor said, do you think that disciple of yours will be able to become the strongest expert in the universe in 100,000 epochs? Or will he be able to create the ultimate secret technique of the Lord of the Universe with his undying body? Or will he be able to create the ultimate technique of the strongest expert in the universe with his paragon body? According to the bet, the moment Luo Feng becomes the Universe Lord, then the primogenitor clone can use the Universe Lord ultimate technique. The ultimate technique used by the primogenitor clone will undoubtedly be the pinnacle of the ultimate techniques used by the Universe Lord. To defeat such a primogenitor clone, the only way is to create the universe's strongest ultimate technique. I can only tell you. Mountain guest looked at the primogenitor. My disciple has hope of succeeding, of course. If he can't comprehend it and fails, he can only blame himself for not being capable enough. Oh, what a joke. The primogenitor still didn't believe it. 100,000 eras, it's only 100,000 years in the Primal Universe, just watch. Mountain guest said, in these 100,000 years, don't let any other warriors enter the beast god realm, don't disturb him. Relax, I definitely won't purposely disturb him. The primogenitor said. Where's the wine? Mountain guest said. The primogenitor flipped his hand and immediately an exquisite wine bottle appeared, floating in mid-air. This is half of what I've accumulated. The primogenitor said. I'm leaving. Mountain guest flipped his hand and kept the wine. He turned and gazed into the distance. The distant Luo Feng was deep in thought, following which he turned and took a step, vanishing into thin air. Hope. The primogenitor gazed below. Mountain guessed that old punk actually said his disciple has hope of succeeding, becoming the universe's strongest is definitely a joke. Which means, he thinks his disciple can create the Universe Lord ultimate technique with his undying body? If this Luo Feng succeeds, it'll be an eye-opener for me. If he fails, that ultimate treasure will be mine. The primogenitor smiled and vanished into thin air. Luo Feng sat by the lake for a total of 9 days, even studying his teacher Mountain Guest and the Space Beast primogenitor's mentality, but he still couldn't find a solution. Primogenitor, Mountain Guest, they are the strongest in the universe, their knowledge and abilities are at the pinnacle of the universe. The primogenitor doesn't believe I can do it. Since teacher Mountain Guest made this bet, he definitely thinks I have a chance of doing it at least within 1 billion years. Luo Feng pondered, he told me to come to the beast god realm, so to reach this requirement, I have to first search within the beast god realm. Luo Feng understood. The first goal was the beast god realm. Throughout history there have definitely been many that came to the beast god realm, after all the techniques were obviously left behind by the Universe Lords and Knights of the Space Beast Alliance. However, these powerful beings couldn't possibly create the Universe Lord ultimate technique at the Undying level. The moment someone could do it, the primogenitor wouldn't gamble. Luo Feng nodded to himself. From this, it could be deduced that just relying on the beast god realm wasn't enough. First I have to rely on the beast god realm. Second I have to rely on some of my own secrets. Third I still need a long time, otherwise teacher Mountain Guest wouldn't have bet 100,000 eras. Luo Feng thought, 100,000 eras? That was 1 billion years. That was an extremely long time. Luo Feng understood that if he wanted to succeed, he had to start from the beast god world. He also understood that his teacher paid such a huge price to let him enter the beast god world, it would definitely be of great benefit to him. Luo Feng once again began his tour of the beast god world. This time he was extremely serious and careful. First, he left a secret technique carving on the ground of a plane and learned 2 sets of amplitude amplification secret techniques. One was a soul amplitude technique called 9 peak lock. When trained to the extreme, one could reach a soul amplitude of 99.99, which was actually 100 times. The other was a god body amplitude technique, called golden beast god. When trained to the extreme, one could reach 100 times. Luo Feng originally thought that his training would be very difficult. However, he didn't expect golden beast god to be completed in one go. In a short 3 days he reached the perfect level. Whether it was the Masha clansman, his earth body, ocean body or the golden horned beast, they could all unleash this god body amplitude technique. As for 9 peak lock, it was an extreme control of the godly energy. Its requirements for willpower and consciousness were extremely high. However, LuoFeng's willpower and consciousness were at the Universe Overlord level. And the Universe Overlord's soul amplitudes were all at a perfect level. Hence it was easy for Luo Feng to train. After spending over a month he actually managed to train 9 peak lock to a perfect level. My godly energy, willpower and consciousness. They are all at the Universe Overlord level. Yet training them is so easy. Luo Feng sighed within. This was the difference in strength and difficulty. If it was an Emperor level Undying, probably not even one out of the tens of thousands of them could train 9 peak lock to its absolute peak. 9 peak lock and golden beast god, these 2 amplitude techniques took over a month to train. Luo Feng then continued to tour the beast god world. The beast god world had 64 beast god statues. Each of the 8 great innate beast deities had 8 statues of beast deities. There were tens of thousands of secret techniques, 36 Universe Lord ultimate techniques, 123 Universe Lord pinnacle techniques, 3,000 Universe Lord ultimate techniques, and tens of thousands of Universe Lord pinnacle techniques. There were also large amounts of seemingly random origin law engravings. He couldn't understand most of the secret techniques, and he could only vaguely understand some of the most basic secret techniques. After studying it for half a year, Luo Feng arrived before one of the golden beast god statues, raising his head to carefully study it. Those absolute arts are useless against me. Those were all created by other experts. Even if I learned them, they would be most suitable for others. In my hands, they would be much weaker. Luo Feng looked at the beast god statue, and many of the techniques have descriptions of studying the beast god statue. Even the masters of the universe can comprehend these beast god statues. In the entire beast god realm, the most precious thing is these 64 beast god statues. Luo Feng stared. In the beast god realm, on one of the mountain peaks, the primogenitor stood casually, gazing at the distant golden beast statue in the vast forest where Luo Feng stood. He said softly, "You've actually stood before the beast god statue for a total of 3 years, looks like you've realized, the beast god statue is the most precious thing." That's right. All the peerless geniuses and super experts of our Starry Sky Alliance know that the beast god statue is the key. There are many who understand this. However, those who comprehend the absolute arts, especially the Universe Lord's ultimate arts, are extremely few. And those who comprehend the Universe Lord's ultimate arts are all Universe Lords. The primogenitor was leisurely and carefree. He himself was clear. The other techniques of the beast god realm seemed precious, but they weren't much. The 64 statues were the true priceless treasures. Luo Feng stood before the 8 statues, studying them for a year at least or 8 years at most. As for the thunder and light beast gods, the time he took to study them was much shorter. After all, he didn't walk the path of the other beast gods. The 64 statues took a total of 52 years. The more I look, the more I feel, it's perfect. Golden Beast God 8 statues. Luo Feng felt that after looking at the 8 statues of the Golden Beast God, the rage, joy, calmness, roar, madness, all sorts of situations were very familiar to him. Closing his eyes, it was almost as though he had personally seen the Beast God, the Golden Beast God. One less statue would make me feel incomplete. Luo Feng nodded within. Actually, just looking at the 64 statues. As long as one was a strong warrior, they would feel that the 64 statues were one body. The 64 statues represented the universe engravings, and if they could combine into one, it could completely form an absolute technique. Just like a man and woman with one look, they would feel like husband and wife. The 64 statues, if one calmed down and looked at them, they would feel like they were one body. Every warrior of the Space Beast Alliance that came to the Beast God realm should be able to feel it. However, no one has been able to comprehend this technique. Luo Feng thought. Because of the Beast God realm's 36 most powerful universe techniques, some were comprehended from the Golden Beast God, some from the Thunder Beast God, and occasionally from 2 Beast Gods. However, from the aura left behind by the statues, they were all equally powerful. Obviously, the techniques were all about the same level. If one were to combine the 8 statues to create an absolute technique, it would definitely surpass the other techniques. After learning the 2 oscillation techniques and studying the Beast God statues, Luo Feng began to study himself. I have to succeed. 1. Rely on the Beast God realm. 2. Rely on my unique body. 3. Rely on time. I've studied the Beast God realm thoroughly. And myself, what's truly unique, even the absolute warriors of the Space Beast Alliance, other than the primogenitor, can't compare to, is probably the 9 level manuals, Star Pagoda, Natural Talents, I Am the Universe and Endless Dark Ocean. Luo Feng thought. The 9 level manuals, one of a kind in the universe. Star Pagoda, the universe's ultimate treasure. Other than the primogenitor, the chances of any other being in the Space Beast Alliance having such an ultimate treasure was extremely low, at least Luo Feng had never heard of it. The natural talent, I Am the Universe. This was a natural talent bestowed by the universe after reaching a perfect genetic level. One had to know that many unique special life forms only had a few thousand times the normal genetic level. Close to 10,000 times was rare. Not to mention reaching a perfect level. Space beasts weren't special life forms. Unless one had something similar to the 9 level manuals, it would be hard to reach such a level. Endless Dark Ocean. It meant that the god energy was almost endless. It was a pity that he was in another universe and had no way to absorb the energy from the Endless Dark Ocean. He did as he said. Primal Universe, LuoFeng's Earth body first headed to the Star Pagoda, studying the countless stars and the engravings on the sky pillars. It was a pity, it felt even more profound than the Universe Lord techniques in the Beast God realm, he couldn't understand them at all. Following which, he carefully studied the 9 level manuals. This was purely a technique to raise one's genetic level, and in terms of profoundness, it was comparable to the Star Pagoda engravings, far surpassing the Universe Lord techniques. Similarly, he didn't understand the profoundness within, he could only train it step by step. Following which, returning to the Endless Dark Ocean, he began to unleash his natural talent, I Am the Universe. LuoFeng's other bodies couldn't unleash, I Am the Universe. Unless the enemy entered the God Country, the Endless Dark Ocean within the God Country was able to unleash, I Am the Universe. Natural talent. I Am the Universe. Rumble. Immediately the endless God energy ocean burned and became endless energy. In the air above the Endless Dark Ocean, a huge egg-shaped ball with a diameter of 10 billion kilometers appeared, Miniature Universe. This is the universe? Miniature Universe? LuoFeng's consciousness merged with the Miniature Universe, feeling incredibly excited. Ever since he got the talent, I am the universe, this was the first time he used it, according to the incomparably mysterious talent that was imprinted in his consciousness. When he used it, the god energy consumption rate was simply terrifying. Almost as soon as he used it, the god energy of the golden horned beast's god body was completely used up. Luckily the endless dark ocean was vast enough. Miniature universe. The vast universe with a diameter of 10 billion kilometers, it contained everything. Within this vast universe there was chaos energy flow, and the miniature universe itself was Luo Feng. How mysterious. Absolute control, absolute control. The moment Luo Feng transformed into the miniature universe, he understood that he could split a portion of his god body to fight with his enemies within the universe. Within his own miniature universe, with the pressure of the universe, his strength would rise greatly, while his enemies would be suppressed greatly. This was just one of the abilities. The strongest was universe explosion. Luo Feng was shocked. With just a thought, he could cause the entire miniature universe to instantly collapse into the universe destruction. Its power was unbelievable. What a mysterious technique. There's actually such a heavenly talent that can transform into a miniature universe. Luo Feng exclaimed. Simultaneously his consciousness began to carefully study the miniature universe. The membrane of the huge ellipsoidal sphere, the miniature universe, was formed by countless strands of law threads connecting together to form a huge mystical pattern of law, transforming it into chaotic air currents. The chaotic air currents revolved around the huge mystical pattern and condensed into a membrane. The other chaos energy flowed within the miniature universe constantly. The huge origin law engravings. This was Luo Feng's natural talent that he unleashed. He didn't understand it at all, and this was his first time personally seeing this origin law engravings. This origin law engravings were oval-shaped, formed from trillions of origin law threads that intersected and intersected. It was extremely complicated. This origin law engravings was the laws of the miniature universe, and Luo Feng's god energy consumption was to supply the entire miniature universe's consumption. Accurately speaking, this wasn't a true universe. A true universe's energy should be cyclical, it should never be consumed. However, Luo Feng's energy was constantly being consumed. Obviously this origin law engraving should be a simplified version of the Primal Universe's laws. Even so, it was enough to stun Luo Feng. 2-2. Luo Feng was completely shocked by this engravings. This engravings had a beauty that shook the soul. It was more shocking than any ultimate technique, even more beautiful than the engravings on the beast god statues. Luo Feng was completely immersed in this shock, carefully admiring this huge and intricate miniature universe engravings. As time passed, the amount of god energy consumed in 90 seconds was comparable to the 90,000 kilometers tall ocean clone, 10,000 times genetic life form. However, the endless ocean could easily withstand it. This isn't this? Luo Feng was shocked to find that the incredibly complicated and intricate engravings could be completely separated, forming many small engravings. Every small engravings was from the 64 beast god statues. One of the statues had a total of 92 engravings, many of them were repeated, however it was obvious that they all came from the 64 beast god statues. And these 92 engravings had countless threads intertwining, almost like large amounts of spare parts finally forming a car. These 92 engravings, every part had countless threads intertwining, perfect and flawless, almost like it was made by nature, finally forming a miniature universe. How can this be? 64 engravings, combining and forming a miniature universe engravings? Luo Feng suddenly felt as though a new door had opened before him. If one didn't know about the 64 engravings beforehand, then facing the miniature universe engravings with trillions of origin laws intertwining and intertwining, one would only find it profound and unfathomable. However, right now Luo Feng felt that from the perspective of the engravings, it was obviously much easier. It was just a complex combination of the 64 engravings. It's unbelievable. Luo Feng was completely captivated. He had never realized that the high and mighty heaven-defying techniques could actually be analyzed from another perspective. Primal Universe, in the vast space, a normal universe ship was flying. Within the ship, this disciple of mine has the 9 underworlds body, he's already reached the perfect life form level before Undying, he must have received the strongest natural abilities. Mountain Passenger sat in the ship, saying softly, and the strongest natural abilities are the pinnacle of the countless natural abilities in the universe. Every single one of them can be considered perfect. And the 64 engravings, they're the perfect embodiment of the 8 beast gods. The 8 beast gods are the embodiment of the 8 great origin laws. The universe's laws can be split into metal, wood, water, fire, earth, light, wind, thunder, time, space. They can also be split into the 8 great origin laws. Mountain Passenger smiled. Mountain Passenger was already standing at the pinnacle of the universe. He could clearly see through everything. The most powerful secret arts can be broken down into 64 secret patterns. As for some low-level secret techniques, they can't even compare to a mysterious beast tattoo. They don't have the qualifications at all. Luo Feng looked at the 64 beast god statues in the beast god world and knew about the 64 engravings. The moment he unleashes his own special technique, he'll definitely discover the connection between the 64 engravings and his special technique. From the angle of the mystical patterns, I'll use the 64 mystical patterns as elements to create a secret art. There's no need to understand the principles behind each of the 64 mysterious patterns. All I need to do is memorize the 64 patterns and the structure of each one. Then, with reference to the complicated mysterious pattern structure of the strongest secret innate skill he obtained, we can definitely try this path. Once I succeed, it's not impossible to create a simplified version of the strongest talent secret technique. If he really succeeds, then it means that his attainments in the mysterious patterns are already extremely high. Using the 64 engravings as the basic elements to train, there were warriors of this level before the Great Apocalypse. If Luo Feng can achieve something in this area, along with his normal origin law training, his improvement will be even faster. He'll also be able to see through the mysteries of the universe's origin laws. Mountain Passenger waited silently. He was gambling. The path of the mysterious patterns. Since the birth of the Primal Universe, no one had walked it before. The main thing was that very few had the qualifications to see the 64 engravings. Even without the guidance of the strongest talent secret technique's perfect engravings, it was still hard to understand. However, before the Great Apocalypse there were warriors of this level. This meant that this path was possible. Different paths could support each other, yet they all led to the same destination. The mysteries of the universe's origin laws. You haven't even spent 100,000 years to have such accomplishments. I can even endure the life and death inheritance. Now that I'm giving you a total of 1 billion years, I wonder if you'll have any results on the path of the mysterious patterns. Mountain Passenger waited silently. The path of the mysterious pattern training had always been a secret. After all, the Great Apocalypse was far away and unpredictable. During the Great Apocalypse, the mysterious pattern training was extremely secretive and rare. The number of people who trained in it was extremely few. Infatuated. Luo Feng was completely infatuated. He'd never thought that after the 64 engravings were combined, they could form such a heavenly technique. Luo Feng felt that the I am the universe technique was extremely powerful. It was like a heavenly book that he couldn't understand at all. But now he understood. This was the incomparably complicated combination of the 64 engravings. Some of the engravings were even repeated. A total of 92 engravings. Don't tell me these 64 engravings, when they combine, they have extremely great power? Luo Feng immediately began his research. In one of the mountain peaks of the beast god realm, the ancestor appeared and gazed below. That's weird. Why is he drawing the engravings over and over again? The ancestor looked from afar. Luo Feng was sitting crossed-legged in front of a golden beast statue. Around him, engravings were forming and the engravings began to combine. He's been drawing these engravings for over 10,000 years. The ancestor was suspicious. After Luo Feng studied the engravings, he realized that the engravings were extremely mysterious and hard to fathom. If he drew it wrongly, the power would be greatly reduced. However, Luo Feng completely followed the complicated engravings of the I am the universe and simulated a few simple combinations. Like a blind cat catching a mouse, he casually created 10 techniques. However, most of them were weak, comparable to some Undying techniques. The only one that was extremely strong was actually close to the third form of the 10,000 star Dao presentation picture. This shocked Luo Feng greatly. He understood. The engravings path was definitely a new path. And if he wanted to successfully defeat the ancestor within 100,000 eras, he would have to rely on this. At the start, Luo Feng was purely guessing. I am the universe's incomparably complicated engravings. There were trillions of ways to combine origin law threads. Luo Feng started purely copying and randomly guessing. Just like that, after over 10,000 years, he had successfully created many techniques. Most of them were weaker. However, time after time of experimentation, Luo Feng discovered the differences in these combinations. From practice he came up with possibilities. From each possibility he came up with theories. During the first 100,000 years, Luo Feng was completely exploring. To try and guess something that was comparable to the third form of the 10,000 star Dao presentation picture, he only managed to do it twice. Obviously, relying on guessing was extremely difficult. After the exploration phase, Luo Feng gradually had some patterns. And Luo Feng made a decision to temporarily abandon the other 56 engravings and completely study the 8 great engravings of the golden beast god. Because from the 100,000 years of exploration, it was clear that Luo Feng's guessing was the most accurate of the 8 great engraving diagrams, and his comprehension was also the fastest. After a million years, Luo Feng had some understanding of the 8 great engravings. Over 10 million years, Luo Feng's understanding of the many combinations of the 8 patterns, their mysteries, effects, power, etc. was completely grasped within his heart. Of course, these he grasped, compared to the I am the universe, this incomparably complex pattern combination, was just the tip of the iceberg. However, this tip of the iceberg was completely grasped by Luo Feng. Within these 10 million years, Luo Feng had finally created a universe night-level ultimate technique by chance. Even though he didn't understand the fundamentals, it was like a natural talent technique. Luo Feng had already memorized the way to unleash it, memorizing the countless origin law thread structure and unleashing it in an instant. Logically, this was impossible. The countless origin law threads had to be unleashed in an instant. If one didn't understand the fundamentals, it was impossible to unleash it. Unless it was like a natural talent technique, imprinting it within one's consciousness. However, in truth, Luo Feng didn't need to unleash all of his origin law threads. He only needed to unleash a few engravings and then carefully control them. Vast and profound. The path of the engravings, Luo Feng felt that it was profound and unfathomable. Maybe it was an unorthodox path, but it was a path that led to the highest path. Did Teacher Mountain Passenger already know of this training method and let me come to the Beast God world? But why has humanity never had such a training method before and I've never heard of it before? Luo Feng was suspicious at times. However, without a doubt, this is indeed an unbelievable training method. The engravings were like components. The universe was like a skyscraper. Countless components eventually formed the skyscraper. And the construction methods could be split into tiling, carpentry, mechanics, etc. Luo Feng had already researched and understood over 900 million ways to combine the engravings. He had completely grasped over 100,000 of them. As this was a completely foreign path, everything depended on Luo Feng's exploration. Hence, everything was difficult at the beginning. As he got started, Luo Feng's speed of grasping the combinations gradually increased. Immersed in the 8 great engravings, Luo Feng forgot about the flow of time. Time passed quickly. Tens of millions of years passed by. Luo Feng frequently studied the 8 great beast drawings, occasionally stopping to study the engravings and create new techniques. At the highest peak of the beast god world, the primogenitor frowned as he gazed below. Luo Feng had been in the beast god world for 180 million years. As time passed, the primogenitor completely understood from Luo Feng's training process. Engravings training, this was a path that led to the highest path. This time I failed. Mountain Passenger is indeed powerful. He actually knew of such a training method. He actually believed that his disciple would be able to succeed on this foreign path. The primogenitor also deduced that the engravings training method, its weakness was that the foundation wasn't solid enough. Its strength was that one could occasionally get lucky and create a heaven-defying technique. The primogenitor's expression suddenly changed.